All right, last but certainly not least, talking about licensing advanced reactors worldwide, we have Catherine Yates, Jing Hu, James Kendrick, and Stephen Clement.
All right. Good afternoon. Everybody hear me? All right. So we are Group 3, and we are consulting to change the world. I'm Steve. This is Jing, Catherine, and James. So, slide please. I'm sure everybody's seen this picture before, and I'm going to talk very slow over it because it's really important to our talk. So you can see it's the Earth from space. It's dark. You can see all the cities lit up. It's a really nice picture. But it's actually a picture of a pretty big problem. Right now, about 1.4 billion people don't have access to electricity. So if you can look at this and keep in mind where the light and dark spots are, we're going to put another map over top of it. So if you can superimpose this to the Human Development Index, you can see where things are lit up, life is good. Where things are dark, life is not so good. So we need to get clean electricity to the rest of the world. So how do we do that? Next slide. This is just a map of the US. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. There are about 50 advanced reactor companies shown here, working on more than 10 different reactor types. So there should be plenty of ways to get these out and into the world. But unfortunately, there's a problem. And I'm going to hand you over to Jing so she can tell you more about it.
From a brilliant idea of a reactor design to an actual nuclear power plant to provide us with electricity takes a lot of effort. And much of the money and time has been spending on getting the license. If we take the US NRC as an example, which is the golden standard, it is estimated that it will take 10 to 20 years and $600 million to license one nuclear reactor. Partly it is because the law was designed to license a traditional light water reactor. There are already many organizations has been working to address this issue, trying to change the law and making the licensing process much faster. While we are waiting for that to happen, some of the new startups are trying to solve their problem abroad. By licensing their nuclear power plant in a more regulatory friendly country, they not only can save the time, but also save the money a lot. Also, by doing this, they can also make their risk much, much smaller. So we, as a group, identified there are already several companies doing that. However, as the Group 3, between the group of the advanced reactor companies and also the regulatory bodies, not every startups have the time and resource to get this done. This is the time where we come to help you.
So clearly there's a huge problem. There's a very large bottleneck between the technologies that we believe in and the market, where they can produce electricity and directly impact that map that we started with. So our approach is a little bit different. We're moving outside of the United States. We're directly partnering with advanced reactor design companies or vendors as our customers and bringing them to other countries, other regulators outside of the United States who have a deep, profound need and interest for this technology. And we're doing this in many different countries. We're using a term we're using, licensing parallelization. So we're going after multiple countries at once. So here in this example, we would have country 1 and country 2, and maybe country 3, maybe country 4. It really depends where we believe we can have success licensing these reactors and where our vendor believes they have a strategic advantage on the market. So this is sort of the space we're choosing to operate in. By pursuing multiple pathways in this way, we intend to reduce the risks of licensing a new design, pursuing multiple paths. We intend to drop the costs and the time that's required per license for these reactors, and we're opening up multiple markets around the world. So this vendor now not only has a license in one country, but they have multiple countries and multiple markets for their product. And at the same time that we're doing this abroad, we're also working with our home regulator, the NRC, as well as the IAEA. Both of these institutions have deep knowledge in our field. The IAEA has deep knowledge abroad, the political and nuclear kind of environments around the world, and then the NRC has deep technical knowledge of what it takes to license a reactor. So we want to leverage both of those ideas in our services. And we do know, knowing our audience, that there's a lot of work in this space as well, but more on the political and kind of shifting the regulating side to try and address the same issues we are, which we find deeply exciting. And that's what's really pushed us up into this space, working directly with the companies and countries. And so as licensing regulations change and shift, we intend to be a part of that. We intend to bring our customers' voice to those discussions, be a part of the shifting regulation, and be a leader after those regulations change. So that's sort of the problem we've found. That's our new approach to this problem. And now Catherine will give you a little bit of background about what we're really doing as a company.
So what exactly are we going to do to achieve this? So in our first year, we're looking to form a strong advisory board with regulatory agencies, lawyers, and people from international nuclear organizations. We will also create a database of advanced reactor design companies and the countries interested in deploying power plants. We can charge for access to this database as a way to generate some income during our first year. In year 2, we hope to have our first customer, and we can begin the licensing process. We estimate this will take around 6 or 7 years, and at the end of that, construction of the power plants can begin. So as a company, we have analysed that our biggest risks are finding a first customer, finding funding, experiencing legal blocks, and the licensing process being unsuccessful. We have discussed mitigating strategies to reduce these risks, and more information can be found on the report we've provided on the Google Drive. So why us? We are well poised to work internationally, as between the 4 of us we represent 3 countries, each with strong nuclear links. As a company, we are passionate about the future of nuclear energy, and we believe innovation in regulations is the way to move forwards with the industry. We'd like to thank all of our mentors and all the bootcamp staff for all their help the past 2 weeks, and we are open for some questions. Thank you.
Great, fantastic presentation. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the market, or the size and or how much you think each customer would be willing to pay.
So we were planning on charging them depending on the size of the company. So we could charge a small company less than a big company, say, for our services.
Do you think that all of the parties that have to cooperate and work together to make a deal go through and a license be successful, do you think they'll all be wanting this to happen and it's just a matter of getting the terms of a deal right, or will there be someone working against, some entity working against the deal, somebody who this isn't as good for?
So certainly there will be competition. So oil and gas, other general means of producing electricity. And there's certainly, as we all are aware, there's an anti-nuclear bias, especially here at home in the United States, but abroad as well. So there's definitely going to be some pushback. But I think what really resonates with us all is the need for this technology and the fact that it's more of an eventuality. And so we're trying to push that faster. And so we really do believe that our customers and the countries we intend to work with, which we'll be strategically picking, do resonate with those values as well. And so we really look forward to a lot of cooperation on that grand stage.
So as a company, what would you say is your core competency? Are you guys good at project management? You're in knowledge about the different licensing regimes, your relationships in different countries? What is it that you bring?
I think we are bringing our passion and our willingness to do this. I mean, there are people who has been thinking of doing this, but the reason we are here is because we care this a lot. And we've been amazed in the past 2 weeks how many people have advised us and how many strategies that we have come up with. Our idea, looking at that map, is how many nuclear power plants there are worldwide. If we can put one more dot on that, we'll be very happy, and Rachel will be very happy.
Do you see this as a for-profit or a non-profit effort, and why?
So our thought is there is a balance between the money we make and the impact we make. we tend to think the impact we make, that's more important. But if we're looking at how much does it cost to license, $600 million, if we can make it to save one company 15% of that money, I'm sure we will survive. We just need to get in over one customer. And remember, there are more than 50 nuclear startups here in US trying to build their first reactor worldwide. I think the market is huge.
Like you were saying that this seems like something that people would be doing already. Why do you think this hasn't happened so far?
That's because, exactly, people are thinking other people are doing this already. They're not here at the boot camp. We have identified people are doing similar consulting service. For example, we have an amazing speaker of David Matthew, who was a former director of NRC. So he has a consulting company trying to help reactor to license worldwide. He's helping.